Well, during Lent, many Christians symbolically fast by giving up something in the normal diet. I tend to do that. We do this fasting of something in the 40 days of Lent in remembrance of Jesus fasting for 40 days in the wilderness. This practice has long been a tradition in preparation for Easter. A number of years ago, I added less common actions to my Lenten practices by also intentionally spending at least a small portion of the day being in the wilderness. I try to go outdoors and focus on creation in prayerful meditation. Paraphrase verse 6 from today's lectionary text. I seek God where God can best be found for me, and I call upon God while near. And in Florida, this Lenten wilderness practice included riding my bike 3 miles to the ocean, sit on the beach, and prayerfully be in creation as I watched the sunrise. I was often joined by pelicans gliding over the surf and an occasional dolphin or two appearing in the waves. In Ohio, I have continued to have Lenten time with the wilderness at sunrise, but, well, as you might imagine, I've had to make a few adjustments. Most mornings during Lent, it is too cold for my blood to bike ride here, and I've not been able to find any pelicans or dolphins nearby, let alone an ocean beach. And so my time of bike riding to the warm sand of the subtropic beach has given way to a very short stroll out onto our east-facing deck to sit in a warm coat and share sunrises with squirrels and the many fine Midwest feathered friends who grace our backyard. And often our dog Sealy is on the deck laying at my feet. And since February and March can also have days too cold for my blood to even bundle up and sit on the deck, plan B is to sit in our living room looking out a picture window with Sealy curled up next to me, and sometimes a cat will join us. And whether on the deck or in the house, the point is to prayerfully experience God in creation at dawn. I've noticed in these Lenten practices that Sealy never looks up unless I say the word squirrel. And the cats, well, they never look up. Our pets don't seem moved in the least by the beauty of these breaking dawns. I am, on the other hand, enthralled by them. In fact, when I stop and just focus on the sunrise in Ohio, I experience awe and wonder every time. They are as good as any in Florida. For a few moments, most every Lenten dawn, a vast array of color has beamed up and out and around the hills and through the trees, and sparkling hues of red, purple, pink, orange, blue, gray, silver, and even gold. When I stop and prayerfully focus on the moments of awe and wonder in the light of the breaking dawn, I experience something deep in my soul. Something emanates out of creation in my sunrises experiences, which then goes into the very heart of my being. And those words that I just preach, though they don't do justice to the experience. It's too holy for mere words, too much of God for a mortal like me to fully convey or even fully fathom. And I imagine, and I certainly hope and pray all of us have had such holy encounters with creation in many things, including sunrises, sunsets, oceans, waterfalls, rivers, trees, flowers, animals, lightning, snowfall, children sleeping, birth itself. All of that and much more is full, so much hope. What I can best describe as awe and wonder, the palpable presence of what we theists call God. And there are no words that can really describe it. It's a mystery too wonderful for mortal language. As I said, verse 6 in our text this morning explains pretty well the reason I seek Lenten wilderness moments. I believe it's one of the reasons Jesus went into the wilderness too. Verse 6 instructs, seek the Lord while he may be found, call upon him while he is near. And that is the why we do it. And we can hear in verses 8 and 9 explaining the unexplainable nature of the glory experienced in creation that have been going on. Our still speaking God says through Isaiah in verse 8 and 9, for my thoughts are not your thoughts, nor are your ways my ways, said the Lord. For as the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways higher than your ways, and my thoughts than your thoughts. And those verses explain my inability to satisfactorily put to words the awe and wonder I feel in creation, even as they let me name it as God, as holy, is God's heaven, and God's way, which I cannot adequately convey. And it's very interesting to me, though, that both that theists and agnostics and atheists have experienced moments of awe and wonder beyond words. It doesn't matter if we believe it is God or not. That awe and wonder is an experience of what we can call God. And not calling it God does not make God not exist. It just calls God something else, something like awe and wonder. God by any other name is still God. Awe and wonder proves God's experience empirically by everyone, and I might add appreciated, not just named as such, as God by everyone. Well, as I already suggested, the experience of awe and wonder extends, of course, beyond dawn and out into creation in endless ways, not the least of which among the examples I listed is birth. When we witness the first breath of the arrival of an infant, the moment is soaked with awe and wonder. The whole room and everyone in it is too. And the Bible in the very beginning in Genesis describes life as the breath of God. And I've mentioned before that there is a Jewish midrash that understands God's name Yahweh to be in our every breath. Yah is the breath that we take in. Weh is the breath we breathe out. And that not only understands God is in all breaths that living things take, but arrives in our body at birth with Yah and leaves at death with Weh. God is life. Paul says God is what we live and we move and we have our being. And we seem to especially encounter God in births and creation. I've been focusing on dawns that give birth to new days, and we can also sense it in sunsets that give birth to new nights. But birth of new life, even in the smallest mammals, seems to wow us too, and 100-fold more when it is the birth of our own child or one from our family. I witnessed the birth of all form of our children, and each of those births is etched in my soul as holy, God-drenched moments. To put a bit of wordplay on them, they were holy, holy moments. Because in them there was not just the awe and wonder of physical creation, like a sunrise and animal birth, but also love, a deep, deep desire for the well-being of another being. You see, in my children's birth, I did not just witness the creation miracle, the rays of life emitting from the instant of life, but also in the rays of love emitting in the room from their incredible mother, Nancy, from me, from God, and even in the care of the doctors and nurses and midwives. We joined together to provide a collective, gigantic whoosh of instant love that was as vital to that child that was born as the breath of God that also whooshed in. It was as if in that first breath of our newborns, they shared with us the Yah and the way of God, soaking everyone present like holy water soaks a sponge. It was, in a very literal, a multi-layered way, newborn love. And the soaking made me high as I've ever been on the holy. I was at best an agnostic when my children were born. But if anyone explained to me that God is the name we give to awe and wonder and love, I would have had to agree, as I do now, that I was sensing in those births the very presence of God. And I mentioned that my dog and cat don't seem to notice the God sense that I'm talking about, the awe and wonder of creation. I noticed that mammals do have a very nurturing response to their newborns, which we can call care. And I cannot tell what non-humans actually feel, but seeing animals giving birth, I've yet to get the sense that they are experiencing an awareness of awe and wonder, or a level of love beyond the basic desire to provide care, nurturing, survival, offspring. And I mentioned last week that other animals do not seem to make choices between good and evil like humans, and do not seem to be able to choose to love in mass beyond kin and clan. Humans seem to be called to love the collective whole, with many actually acting or seeking to act on that call. Animals don't seem to know love in the sense of compassion on a large scale. And what I called last week, something working in the soul to give a compelling interest in a corporate whole. And I don't mean any of this as disrespect to other species. I'm quite fond of creation and I respect it and I care for it. I'm not trying to offend nature or nature lovers. I'm simply trying to explore a good portion of humanity. Apparent difference in having a complicated, sophisticated sense of God in awe and wonder and love. We sing songs and we say words about those things, and we come to worship the sacred in them in ways no other animals are known to do. Humans have a long history of sensing the divine, seeking it out, knowing it is supreme to us, naming it as such, and many humans also treat it as sacred, as well as hope to act on its behalf for others and for creation. And all of that ties into Isaiah's 55 implication that God is beyond our ability to fully comprehend. But God can be sought and called upon and move us to respond. But it also ties into our invitation, suggestion that we can come heavenly close to God, which in turn matches up with the prime teaching of Jesus that the empire of God is near, and we are to help it break in more and more. Well, Psalm 8, our invocation asks God, what is humanity that you should be mindful of us? Who are we that you should care for us? And it points out we are made barely less than God and crowned with glory and honor. If you turn to your New Testament book of Hebrews sometime and go to chapter 2, verses 6 to 7, there's a rewriting of Psalm 8 which adds that humans are just below angels in the scheme of things. Quote, what are human beings that you're mindful of them, or mortals that you care for them? You have made them for a little while lower than angels. You have crowned them with glory and honor. End quote. While humans certainly do not act like angels in many respects, or most of the time, the good news is we could, and that many of us sometimes do. Unlike other creatures, we are the only ones who seem to know to look for God and find God and speak to God and hear God still speaking to us. We're the only creatures who seem to consciously desire to be better and sometimes even act on that desire and have the honor of being like angels, serving as the hands and feet and voice of no less than God. Angels are understood to see God, speak for God, and act for God, and we do not do those things all existence long, yet we are at our best when we long to and strive to, and thank God, part of the time actually do them. The authors of Hebrews got it right. We are made a little lower than angels because we have potential to have angelic moments and angelic acts for God in creation. Which brings me to the first part of the lectionary text from Isaiah 55 that Ian read so nicely this morning. Those verses can be heard to set out what angelic acts look like. God is portrayed as a street preacher, yelling out on a street corner in those verses. Ho! Everyone who thirsts, come to the waters, and you that have no money, come, buy and eat. Come, buy wine and milk without money and without price. What do you spend your money for? That which is not bread, and your labor for that which does not satisfy. Listen carefully to me, and eat what is good, and delight yourself in rich foods. Incline your ear and come to me. Listen so that you might live. I will make with you an everlasting covenant, my steadfast, sure love for David. Those loud and sure words of God set out a way of being that most humans dream of, a life where all without are provided enough, a way where there is no thirst, a way where there is no hunger, a way where money does not determine access to need, a way where everyone senses the love of God as sure and steadfast. And those are not just human desires, they are God's desires and God's angels' desires. Those divine and angelic desires are known to be felt by one creature we know, humans. And unfortunately, not all of us act on those desires all the time. Some of us barely act on them at all. But a great many try to, or aspire to, or go to churches, mosques, synagogues, temples, and such to learn how to. Religion, you see, is about finding God, as verse 6 instructs, and going out and finding the indescribable awe and wonder that is God, that verse 8 and 9 refer to. But at its best, religion must also be about what the first verses describe, a world where needs of all are longed for and met, and God's steadfast love of all is shown and known. And there's only one way for the needs of the love to be fully shown. It's through us being high enough on God to act angelic in the moments that we can. And I love how Bishop Desmond Tutu sums up humanity's honor to act for God. He writes, extraordinarily, God the omnipotent one depends upon us, puny, fragile, vulnerable as we may be, to accomplish God's purposes for good, for justice, for forgiveness and healing and wholeness. God has no one but us. St. Augustine of Hippo has said, God without us will not, as we without God cannot. May we, with God, do what God needs us to do.